So find yourself getting bad photo after bad photo anytime you go to photograph your craft. Believe me, you're not the only one. I have my fair share of not so good product photos. And if you feel discouraged and really frustrated by the fact that you just can't seem to get the right photo that you want or that you envision, this video hopefully will help you understand how actually getting a bad product photo is a good thing. So if you want to learn how you can turn those bad photos into better product photos, stay tuned. So when it comes to taking product photos, getting bad product photos or photos that don't come out the way you want is totally normal. Believe me, I have tons of photos that will never see the light of day because I don't like them. Maybe it's the composition, maybe it's the background, or it could be the props. It could be any number of things. And that's okay because sometimes you have to take a lot of photos to get a photo that you really like and you're happy with. This happens to pro photographers too, where they have to take a lot of photos, but hopefully they have to take less photos because they're already skilled enough to know what exact setup they need to try and get the photo that they're looking to get. So you have to remember that pro photographers or photos that you see that look really great didn't just magically happen that way. The person who took it probably had a lot of not so great photos they took before they even got that shot, and probably took tons of time to practice and get better so that they could achieve that type of photo. You have to remember that photography is a skill that anybody can learn. So I hope you don't get discouraged anytime your product photo doesn't come out the way you want. It is giving you valuable data to help you understand what it is you need to change. So let's dive into what you can do with these quote unquote bad photos so that you can get better photos. So when it comes to taking product photos, I want you to think like a photographer. And to me, when I say think like a photographer, that doesn't mean that you can't get frustrated or overwhelmed at the fact that maybe you're not getting the photos that you want. I want you to have those moments and say, okay, but I don't want you to give up and kind of go into this mindset of like, I can't do this. This is too hard. I'm never going to figure this out. Okay. I want you to, put that aside. Okay. I want you to kind of go into the mindset of, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out what I can do to make my photos better. So let's say you're taking your photos and you don't like how they're coming out. So instead of saying, I don't like how my photos are coming out, let's get more specific. Let's dig deeper. Okay. So why aren't your photos coming out? Oh, I don't like the lighting. Like it doesn't look right. Okay, good. Let's focus on the lighting. And then I'd say, why don't you like the lighting? Well, it's too dark. Perfect. It's too dark. Okay, that gives us some data to work with, right? Having some context as to why it's not working specifically, such as the lighting is too dark, is better than saying, I just don't like how my photos are coming out. And I want you to be more observant. I want you to ask yourself more questions. Start going a little bit deeper about why the photo isn't coming out the way you want. You can say like, oh, I don't like the props. Okay, why don't you like the props? Is there like a disconnect on your product? Like it doesn't make sense? Does it feel random? Those types of things. And the more you can get specific, the more you can start finding the right solutions on what you need to do to get a better photo. And the beauty of this is that when you start doing this, you start to get information about what you should be doing, right? And that's why taking bad product photos isn't a bad thing. It's there to give you data and information on what you need to do to get a better photo. It's the same thing as if you went and tried on sweaters and you said, oh, well, I don't like how this sweater looks. Okay, why? Well, it doesn't fit right. Okay, why? It's too small. It fits snug and it's kind of short on me. Okay, good. That is more helpful than saying, I don't like the sweater, right? Because that data will help you understand maybe you need to find sweaters that are up a size and that are a bit longer so that you spend less time just trying on random sweaters, and instead you have this data of trying to go up a size and finding longer sweaters. And it helps eliminate a bunch of sweaters that are not going to work for you, right? It's the same thing with taking product photos. Having the specific information on what isn't working in your photo is going to help you spend less time wasted on, setups or props or whatever, than quickly going to what you know is going to work better. So think like a photographer. Let's dive into another fun example, or actually it's more of an exercise I want you to try. So I know you're watching this video because you're saying, hey, I don't want to get bad photos, I want to get better photos, right? I want to have really great photos to sell my crafts online. Well, I totally get you and I totally hear you. But I want to challenge you to do something different, something that I think for me personally was very hard, but it was super eye-opening. And that is to try and take the worst possible product photo you can. And you might be saying, I'm not trying to take a bad product photo, like I already have them. And I get it, I hear you. But if you're not intentionally trying to take a bad product photo, you may not be able to see where things are not lining up, right? Sometimes when we have to do the complete opposite and intentionally make a really bad product photo, we start to really see and understand what it is that we're doing to get the results that you may be getting and that you may be feeling stuck in. So trying to create the worst possible lighting, right? You could literally just take a picture in a closet and have this like black photo, right? That's pretty bad. But there are other ways that you can, create bad lighting. You could do the same with your background. Pick a background that's like super busy, one that completely blends in with your product. You could, put as many props as possible in your shot, put some random props in your shot that like literally don't make any sense with your product. I mean, you could just go wild with this exercise. And the thing that's really great is this will really highlight to you what you're doing to get a really bad shot and understand, oh, I think I've been sort of doing this unconsciously when I'm taking photos, and I need to not do that, right? This can help highlight common product photography mistakes that you're creating and find ways to help improve it, right? So I challenge you to try this out, and please let me know if you do this, because I really want to hear what your experience is like and even see some of your photos. So you can always DM me on Instagram or tag me. I'll be sure to leave a link somewhere in this video, and let me know how it goes, because to me, I learned so much doing this. It's kind of hard when you start having a little bit of an awareness of how hard it can be to do a bad photo versus if you're trying to get a better photo. So that's a fun little exercise I want to challenge you to do. Something that I learned pretty early on when I was learning product photography is small changes and small adjustments can have a really big, dramatic impact on how your photos come out. Sometimes all you need to do is shift where your camera is, or change where your lighting is hitting your product, or just changing your background. It doesn't have to be these huge major changes like I think you might think it is. In fact, I saw this firsthand in person when I taught a product photography workshop in person on lighting, and these group of artists and makers were in complete shock at how their photos changed when we moved the lighting or when they changed the position of where they were taking their photos. They never realized how much the photo changed if one of those factors was different. And it got them to be super curious when they went home to take photos about what else they could do, where else they can position, the lighting or the camera or the product, whatever, to get a better photo. Because sometimes that little change, that small tweak is all you need to get the photo that you want. So I encourage you to just take some time to practice, change things around, and experiment, because sometimes you don't have to do very much to get the shot that you want. So before I wrap up this video, I just want to remind you that there's actually a blog post that I wrote that goes along with this video, where I give more information and go into a little bit more detail about specific things that I talked about in this video. It's just a little bit easier to do it in a written form than it is to do it in a video form. So make sure you check out the link in the description to read that. And in all honesty, I want to applaud you for doing this, because taking your own product photos is not an easy thing. It's really hard, and learning how to do it if you're not in a formal setting can be really difficult, especially when you're trying to learn other things such as copywriting, making time to actually create your product, to learn, advertising, all these other things that you have to learn when you're running your own craft business. Product photography is just one of the many things you have to focus on. So I just want to acknowledge that, you have a lot on your plate, and learning how to do this is not easy, but it will pay off for you in the long run. Having really great product photos can dramatically transform your sales, your views, and your opportunities to grow your business. So I just want to encourage you to please stick with this. You can do this. I know it's not easy, but I think some of the tips that I shared with you, and the exercise on how to try and take the worst photo, can really get you thinking about what you can do to improve your photos and get better results more quickly. So I also wanted to just point out, if you are interested in working with me in a one-on-one capacity, make sure you send me a message on Instagram, or you can fill out a form on my website to get in touch with me if you want to learn more. So if that is interest, I look forward to hearing from you. Otherwise, I think that is the video for today. Make sure you like this video. If you enjoyed it and found it useful, feel free to share it with your maker and creator friends who are trying to DIY their own product photos and need some help. And hit subscribe if you want to stay in the loop on any new videos coming out. Otherwise, I'll see you soon. Bye.